Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Hat. I'm here to bring you another weekend weekly recap. It's been a while. I had to do two live reviews for two Empire movies: Frozen Empire from Ghostbusters and the New Empire from MonsterVerse. I enjoyed those movies, however flawed they were. But now I'm coming back to do the weekly recap and to show you guys, or to bring you the news of what's been going on over the weeks and what's going on, even a little bit politically. Now, there is a lot to get into. We got political stuff, as well as some Disney financial stuff, including also the Diddy news, the Indiana Jones news. So we are going to get into it. But before I do, um, let's say hello to the chat. Hello to Fire Devil X. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Also, I am streaming on X as well, folks. If you want to support me on X, you can sub to my Twitter. It is at OrangeHat2185. Also, I am trying to get to 2,000 subs on YouTube. If you can sub to me on YouTube and watch my content there, that also is helpful. So, getting into the first news of the weekly recap, we have Indiana Jones 5 confirmed huge flop after after the finances come out. So this comes from Bounding Into Comics. Shout out to you boys. Financial statements confirm Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was another multi-million-dollar Disney flop. This comes from Spencer Backley. This is from April 1, although it was anything but an April Fool's joke for Disney. They wish it was. To the surprise of absolutely no one who has seen the abysmal sequel, the new financial filing by Disney has revealed that rather than being anywhere in the neighborhood of what anyone would call a success, last year's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was but the latest entry in their long list of big budget box office disasters. Last year was a very hard year for Disney, folks. For entertainment as a whole, Disney lost over $1 billion in the box office. So, as initially detailed by Forbes, the confirmation of Dial of Destiny's failure to land with the audience was revealed courtesy of filings made by or with the UK government by the local Disney subsidiary set up to helm the film's production and help it qualify for the island nation's movie tax credits PLD productions. And bear with us, readers, because to get the results, it's going to take a brief detour into the world of accounting. So we're going to skip all the stuff here. Basically, I mean, folks, essentially they lost a lot of money here. So, as noted above, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is what the latest Disney recent films to be confirmed as a box office flop. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Elemental, Haunted Mansion, The Marvels, To Wish. Recent years have seen Disney put out so many bombs that their once stellar reputation as the standard of entertainment has now been replaced with one as the shining activism over entertainment and corporate greed. So essentially, let's get to the final tally here. Should even this conservative estimate hold true, that would mean that Disney lost closer to $460.4 million on their attempt to capitalize on the once beloved adventure franchise. They lost $460.4 million on this? Holy shit. Yikes. So, or no, right here. When the factors in the $192 million box office, the numbers ultimately reveal that universally panned sequel lost the studio at least $134.2 million. Ouch. Big ouch. 132 million or $134 million, folks. I mean, I still have not seen Dial of Destiny, and I absolutely will not watch Dial of Destiny, because honestly, I feel that Indiana Jones ended with The Last Crusade, hence The Last Crusade. You know? So with that said, hold on one moment. I'm going to say hello to the chat because more people have rolled in. Hello, hello, hello to Gypsy Geek Freak. Got it, doing good, Freaky. Yo, Freaky's in the house. All right, Kitty. Hello, hello. Wish did worse, I think. Yeah, they probably did. But yes, Disney has been losing millions, if not a billion plus, folks, from last year. That is because they continue to push activism over entertainment. And Bob Iger is not helping things either, because he thinks that, oh, we are going to go back to that, but it's like you're still putting it in there, you know? So before we move on to the next one, I still got to find the article. Sorry about that. All right, here we are. So that being said, we have our next one right here. Bob Iger says woke messaging is not the focus of their projects. I think we're going to find that it's actually not the case. So this is again from Bounding Into the Comics. Let me share the screen and say hello to the chat again. Fair enough. I think Crystal Skull is a fine movie, but I just hate hearing it undid that movie's ending. Regardless of how anyone feels about the movie, that's a dick move. Yeah, I'm guessing you meant dick, not duck. But yeah, I do feel that they did screw that up with Dial of Destiny. I heard that they ended up killing off what's his name's character, which was kind of stupid. Also undoing the marriage between him and Marion, I think. Or that she just left him because of some reason or another. But let's get into this article from from another article from Bounding Into Comics. We have Disney CEO Bob Iger pushes a back. Won't let me write it. The Crystal Skull has a happy ending. Oh, YouTube, yeah. Had a happy ending for the franchise. Yeah. I hate the fact they brought it in Aliens for Indiana Jones. Yeah, I know, right? So, moving on to the next one, Disney CEO Bob Iger pushes back against critics, claims infusing messages as a sort of a number one priority in our films and TV shows is not what we're up to. I remember a meeting of the heads of Disney's departments where a woman basically said, I'm putting all this stuff in here for the kids to see, the sexualized stuff, you know. She had actually admitted that was the agenda all along. But yeah, let's get into this one from Spencer Backley again from Bounding Into Comics. In what feels like a textbook case of gaslighting, Disney CEO Bob Iger has claimed that, contrary to popular criticisms, the entertainment conglomerate does not consider the inclusion of socio-political messaging in their projects to be the number one priority. Bullshit. But let's continue. Iger offered his take on the House of Mouse's current output during April 4th interview given the CNBC David Farber following the company's victory in denying investor Nelson Peltz, the former Disney's CFO Jay Rasulo, a pair of seats on the board of directors. And I also heard that because of that, they lost a lot of money. Their stock tanked. Following decisions on Disney's financial future, their plans for ESPN, their recent selling of the state of Florida and the recent settling with the state of Florida regarding the company's ability to govern the district in which the Walt Disney World theme park is located, Iger was eventually asked by Faber for insight as to how he weathered the very public hostilities that have been leveled against him, particularly from Tesla CEO Elon Musk in recent years. In reply, the Disney CEO asserted, per transcript of the interview provided by NBC, "I ignore it." Well, yes, he would have to, because he's a liar. "Yeah, there's no relevance to Walt Disney Company or to me." Really? Further pressed by Babic, I'm guessing Faber, you meant Faber, as to his thoughts on Musk and Pelt's respective anti-woke campaigns, Iger affirmed, "People are going or have been coming after me and the company for years, and it's just I get distracted by I don't get distracted by those things." Yeah, that's because that's your goal, and you've pushed so many people away from it that met with the pushback from his host, but the woke thing has had more of an impact. I mean, you've said to me that you would love to be just out of the culture wars. Do you feel like you're succeeding in that? Well, I think yes. I mean, I think the noise has sort of quieted down. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. I've been preaching this for a long time in the company before I left, and since I came back, that our number one goal is to entertain. I think, but the term woke is thrown around rather liberally. No pun intended in that regard. I think that a lot of people don't even understand really what it means. The bottom line is that infusing messaging as some sort of number one priority in our films and TV shows is not what we're up to. Except that is all that you guys talk about. So how is anybody to believe any real or any different? That's all you talk about, and all the talent talks about in their marketing, in their interviews. Divestment, inclusion, or diversity, inclusion, and exclusivity, or as I call it, DIE, and whatnot. They need to be entertaining to look. We're the Disney company, or where the Disney company can have a positive impact on the world, whether it's, fostering acceptance and understanding of, people of all different types. Great. But generally speaking, we need to be an entertainment first company. And I've worked really hard to do that. You literally changed the skin color of every major character from all the remakes that you have been doing. You cut out all the historically obsolete content. You change the stories of movies that a lot of people grew up loving as a kid. I mean, I actually thought The Little Mermaid was a wonderful movie. Not this new one that they have with Halle Bailey, but the old one in which it was a good love story, a true love story. And yet you turned it into this weird bullshit story. Taking note on the guest's final sentence, Faber then inquired, "In what way? What do you mean when you say that?" "Engaging with our executives, which you have, our shareholders have been pissed off at you." I mean, shit, guys, Disney's been sued over and over by their own shareholders and investors. Engaging with the creativity or the creative community, returning to our roots. Yeah, like having or we're also, by the way, what he won't tell you is that their hiring policies and their work policies in Disney means that you root out any sort of right-wing believers or talking points, and you report them. And if you report them and get them fired, you will actually get a promotion. That's in their contract, folks. Yeah, that's been reported on over the last few years, that their DEI contracts will fire mostly white people. And if those people have any sort of right-wing beliefs, they're to be rooted out and kicked out. And the people who do so, the people who rat for the House of Mouse, will get promoted. No joke. That actually happens. Um, and on the other hand, in order to do that, the stories you tell have to really affect the audience and you're trying to reach or that you're trying to reach, but that audience or the audience, because they are so diverse, really, first and foremost, they want to be entertained and something they can be turned off by certain things. And we just have to be more sensitive to the interest of the broad audience. Yeah, the broader audience, the bigger audience. And yet you still cater to the smaller, weaker denominator. I mean, folks, it really is sad that they have not picked up on this yet. I mean, this guy is supposed to be a CEO. It's not easy, he ultimately concluded, so that you can't please everybody all the time. No, but you should focus on pleasing the bigger amount of people. And that is actually, or the bigger amount of people are actually diverse as well. More diverse than just the exclusive everybody else but white folks, people. As noted above, Iger's claim that the company does not prioritize socio-political messaging in their messages is patently absurd given not only their actual output in recent years. From the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder's full-on dive into anti-racism and identity politics to the various race swaps in such movie productions as the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the entirety of whatever She-Hulk was, there exists no shortage of examples of Disney making their messaging a priority, and they did that in their marketing, folks. So, yeah, that is a bunch of malarkey. If you know any Irish like I do, um, I mean, seriously, do they really think that we are going to believe anything they say at this point? Because honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous that they really do think that uh or that they think that people are so easily forgotten about what they've done over the last few years. It's like we are able to remember things longer than 5 seconds, longer than 5 years. We remember the years that Disney didn't focus on these sort of evil things. We remember the times that Disney actually cared about entertaining their viewers and not pushing agendas. I mean, there are some people who are unfortunately too far gone that see wokeness in everything. Me, I had my wake up call where I had to take a really hard look at myself or to stop myself from getting over that edge. But there are people out there that do see wokeness in everything. And while there is agenda in some things here and there, agenda is not necessarily wokeness. So yes, a good example of that is going to be done on my Tuesday stream this Tuesday, upcoming, which is going to be my thoughts on the Rambo franchise. I will be explaining the difference between wokeness and awareness-driven media, because the Rambo franchise is a good example of the difference. But let's get back to the chat here. I hate the fact that they brought an alien. Funny thing will change the race of the characters, but the fact that they don't have diversity in terms of only choosing one race for them. Thank you. With the white people, why not Asian or Gypsy, etc. Sorry about butchering that. I was slightly, my mind was slightly mixing up the words. Why not Indiana Jones, or why not Indian or Asian native? It's always black characters. Yes, this is true. And was Family Fun the actually pushed family values? Or yeah, that show originally did have family values. Instead, now they're trying to push false historical narratives and actual racism towards white people and how they perceive how they actually perceive white people as just being blatantly racist no matter what they do. So, yeah, Bob Iger, if it's not intended that you are allowing wokeness messaging, or you're trying to say that wokeness messaging isn't a part of your or isn't the first priority, we look at the last 5 years of evidence and tell you, and we'll look at you dead in the eye and say you are a liar. Because if it wasn't, then those shows would have actually been interesting to watch. It's evil what they are saying about white people. Yes, it is. It is very evil what they are saying about white people. They are basically saying that white people are evil, they're racist, they're degenerate, they're bigoted, no matter what they say. If they dare speak out against it, they are bigoted. Indiana Jones walked so the Mummy, Uncharted, and Tomb Raider can run. Okay. So with that out of the way, moving on to our next story. Hello to I do believe Junebug came in. Hello there, Junebug. Good to see you. So moving on to our next category. Getting right on there. Michael Rapaport. Folks, this is a little bit political, but Michael Rapaport is an actor, so it is Hollywood stuff. He says he will not vote for Joe Biden. I will not vote for Joe Biden. And my God, I actually saw this interview that he did, and I gotta say, I'm hoping that Josh Berger from Bounding into Comics covers this, because oh boy, this is rather a very good interview that the man did. But I am also not going to forget that this man trashed Trump supporters and conservatives, and also trashed Trump for years until he finally did some research like a normal person and actually finally woke up to it. So let's get into this. Michael Rapaport reiterates voting for Donald Trump is still an option. I won't vote for Joe Biden. Left-leaning actor Michael Rapaport has been making some rather fascinating comments regarding the upcoming presidential election, claiming on several occasions that voting for Donald Trump has become a viable option. I remember Michael Rapaport from Deep Blue Sea as Scoggins. He was actually, or he's one of their smart people. During a recent interview with Visegrad 24, Rapaport was asked about his perceived recent shift in political leanings, to which the actor replied saying, "You know, in all honesty, I have educated myself so much since 2016, and I have a ways to go. My political views have changed immensely, and they're changing at a rapid pace," the actor admitted, adding, "I will not vote for Joe Biden. I do not support anybody from the squad. I think they're totally full of shit." And believe me, folks, this interview was so freaking good. It was so freaking, it's like, holy shit, this man actually woke up. It seems that certain cases of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, can actually be cured. There is hope in the medical community. Can you believe that? He would go on to elaborate, declaring, "I think they're dangerous. I think they're racist hustlers. I think they're cons. I think inevitably that they want to get themselves production deals to produce documentaries. I think they're three-card Monty playing bullshit artists. And I think they totally have an agenda. I have said, you know, after going down the rabbit hole at this point, when we're doing this interview, voting for Trump is still on the table." He would then proceed to admit, "I will not support anybody who is anti-Israel. I will not support anybody who is, or that is, anti-making America safe." Rapaport would also talk about his displeasure with the Biden administration's poor handling on the border and how police are often being disrespected, and the way crime is running rampant, bringing up the instances in which he recorded a video of an alleged shoplifter nonchalantly leaving a Rite Aid while security stood there and watched. "I'm not supporting anybody that's cool with the fact that it takes me 2.5 hours to get back into America from Toronto, as it should, but it takes you 2 minutes to cross the border. I'm not down with that shit," he declared. Rapaport went on, I'm not down with police officers in the greatest city on earth. He's talking about New York City, which is no longer the greatest city on earth, getting beaten up. And you're an illegal immigrant, and then you have no bail, flipping off the effing camera like Tupac when he got arrested. I'm not down with going into Costco or a 7-Eleven or a Rite Aid, as I videotaped once and went crazy viral, cleaning out the spot and walking like you're on a, like a beautiful spring day walk. And I'm not down with any of that shit. So any of these people that support it, I'm not voting for them. He would then reiterate, so yes, my political views have changed a lot. I'm voting with my money, I'm voting with Israel. I'm not getting caught up or suckered into these race politics or any of that bullshit anymore. Yeah, they have changed, and they're going to continue to change and evolve. It's crazy time for American politics. This isn't the first time the actor would admit that voting for Trump was on the table. In November of last year, just over a month after October 7th invasion of Israel, Rapaport weighed in on the ongoing conflict between the Jewish state and the Palestinian terrorist group Hamas, noting the former president could potentially de-escalate the situation. Hamas needs to go for everyone's sake, the actor said during a stream. The only way that the people of Gaza have any chances to start from scratch without Hamas. And I will tell you, this has been a flawed, dysfunctional relationship, and no government, U.S. or United States government, French, Italian, no government is perfect. He went on, no government doesn't have blood on its hands. Why do you think Israel should be held to attainable government standards, impossible government standards? This has been an effed up relationship to begin with. But there was a ceasefire on October 7th. How did we get to this point? Hey, MFer, you want to come in and do terrible things and kidnap civilians? This is how you get to this point. Rapaport would later add, I've had conversations with some of my, if it comes to blank blank Donald Trump and smoking Joe Biden, I'm sorry. Voting for Donald Trump is on the table. I'm sorry. I'll still call him slob, yada yada, Donald Trump, and all that. But we need to get this whole situation under control. Or he's alluding to the armed conflict between Israel and Hamas. Now, another thing that this article doesn't mention is that Michael Rapaport actually gave his thoughts on identity politics even further, because the interviewer actually asked him if he was white, and he actually tells him, he's like, oh my God, man, really? I'm not, or me, when people ask me that, I simply tell them I'm Jewish. And it's like, that's kind of freaking hilarious, folks. He's like, I'm Jewish. And because, yes, Michael Rapaport is Jewish. And honestly, again, I do say this to Michael Rapaport. It's good that you have woken up, but people are still going to remember what you have said. And you have also said back then that you are going to continue calling Donald Trump this and that. Now, in that interview, you haven't. So I'm kind of happy that you haven't. But dude, people are not so easily going to forget what you have said. They are willing to forgive, but they are not going to forget. Now, depending on what you how you believe after this upcoming election, we will see. But it's good that the man is actually waking up to reality. So let's get into the comments before we go on to our next topic. This topic isn't going to have a article to read off of. It's simply giving my thoughts because there have been some new recent things coming. Hey, Darth Sathra, good to see you. There have been some things going on with the whole P. Diddy situation, or just Diddy now, I guess, taking the P out of it. Pun intended. Well, I think Biden is going to win because more people have died since he became president. So he will most likely win. Get it? Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean. Well, I guess it's true. As you get older, you become more right. That is actually true. When I was younger, I was a Democrat. I voted for Obama, and I completely regret ever voting for Obama. Um, but I will also acknowledge that the right side isn't perfect either. We had a tyrant with George H.W. Bush after 9/11. That man took the Constitution and literally wiped his ass with it. Well, not literally, but he basically wiped his ass with it when he enacted the Patriot Act. And as the Patriot Act has now been revised, it still doesn't stop the government from spying on American citizens. And honestly, I think that is absolute or it's absolute retardation. So moving on to our same here. I was a left wing when I was a kid. Yeah. And moving on to our next topic, um, Diddy with his threat of blackmail videos and its legality, their legality. So in case some of you haven't been paying attention, there was this lovely little meme that he did that or people did that says that Diddy has, or his lawyer came out and said something about there being blackmail videos of celebrities, politicians, and so many things going on. And hold on a moment. There. Now that that's no longer the background, that should actually clear up the signal. Sorry about that, folks. Um, so yeah, that he has recorded at his private residences uh, illegal acts, sex acts, and whatnot of very influential people. And if he goes down, he's taking them down. Well, that's all well and good. Uh, Hopefully, if you are going to do that, it or all of that stuff was recorded in the state of New York and not Florida or California. Um, it seems that my camera is folks, hold on one moment. I will speak to this one instead. So yeah, it seems that it's like because if Diddy recorded all these things in California and hold on one moment. Let's see here. Now that let's see if that actually fixed it. If Diddy recorded these things in New York, there's what's called consent or consent laws, folks. And when it comes to recording, you can either do, or in certain states, there's what's known as two. There is what's known as one-party consent. Now, when it comes to one-party consent, that's better. When it comes to one-party consent, like New York, like we have here in New York, my state, you can record somebody without their permission. You can record somebody without their consent. As long as you yourself know that there's a recording and you yourself consent, that is what's going to happen. Or or you can submit that stuff as evidence in a court of law. However, in the state of California, in the state of Florida, you have, or it is a I'm sorry about that. Okay. I'm gonna have to stop using my other camera because it seems that well, let me see if it works. Okay, it is working again. I don't know what's wrong with this camera, folks, and let me get the audio back. Okay, it's here. Okay, is that better? I'm sorry, folks. My USB camera does not want to work at its it seems to be having a problem. So I am apologizing for that. There, let's see if this will work, because I'm kind of getting. So there we go. Two-party consent, you have to have both parties fully aware of what that you are recording. You also have to have their express permission to record. In the state of Florida and in the state of California, where he is allegedly have done all these recordings, if he has done those and says, well, I'll take them down in court and whatnot, just one problem. They're inadmissible in a court of law. If he recorded these things in New York happening, all these illegal actions and whatnot, he can indeed submit them, and the police and whatnot can then go after those individuals. However, in California and Florida, unfortunately, there are two state consent laws. If I was governor of Florida, DeSantis, I would actually try to get one-party consent in that state. Because I am sorry if I am skipping, folks. I cannot avoid that right now. I mean, I can try. I could try to do something here. Hold on one second. And hello, Janet from another planet. Good to see you. I did have a good weekend for the most part. Let me see if I can do something here. Let's see here. Hold on one moment, folks. Please just be patient. There we go. Now, is my audio better? Is my audio better? Is it clearer now? Give me a thumbs up or something in the chat. But yes, when it comes to the consent parties, now Diddy could indeed release this information, these videos and whatnot. He could indeed release it and let the court of public opinion weigh in. Now, I hate the court of public opinion. It should not be the driving factor or dictating factor of people's livelihoods and success. Court of public opinion has been misused in so many ways. But it also does have its merits, where where the law is imperfect. Neither is court of public opinion, but people do have their opinions and whatnot, and they can choose whatever they wish when it does come to the court of public opinion and keeping to their opinions. I hope, I agree with Janet here. I hope that he does leak them. If they were done the problem is, if they were done in California or Florida, he can leak them and those people can go after him. They could sue him into oblivion. Now, also, folks, if he has those illegal things and he leaks them and it was in California or Florida, those people will never be able to get charged for those crimes unless different evidence is submitted concerning those same crimes, because they're inadmissible in a court of law and they were submitted illegally to the public, meaning they would not be able to find any people to impartially try him as a jury of their peers. And good to see you, Tim Talk. Good to see you. So yes, Diddy has to think about that before he just goes willy-nilly and just releases these things. Yes, the court of public opinion is or would basically ruin a lot of these people, depending on what these illegal activities are. However, I'm hoping that the stuff was done in New York where it can be done legally and released legally, because then these people will be held to account. Diddy will be held to account. He'll probably get a plea deal for turning in so many other people, even though he was the one who hosted that shit. But if he does leak them, he is opening himself up to lawsuits that he would never financially recover from. I do believe that the federal government is looking for him and have already seized his assets. So yeah, I do believe that P. Diddy be fucked either way, and him releasing it can either prove fruitful for him, sure, or can prove non-fruitful. It all depends. If he does it in the two-party consent states, he screws himself completely. And yes, court of public opinion, which essentially means nothing when it comes to or essentially means nothing when it comes to to the law, will take over, sure. But when it comes to legal shit, that has a lot further weight. A one-party consent state is the way to go. Unfortunately, say that Florida does switch over. I think this is true because we all saw what happened with Alec Baldwin. If they were to switch to a one-party consent state, and if all of that stuff was switched over, or all of that stuff was submitted to the police, it wouldn't matter. Yes, I do realize that I am frozen here. Jeez. Oh, sorry about that, folks. Yes, I am frozen on that end. And I'm trying to fix it. Hold on one second, folks. Jeez. There we go. There we go. I think I'm back now. Audio good. The audio is back on the Diddy. There we go. I should be back clearly now. Sorry about that. But yes, if the laws in Florida were to change to where it becomes a where it becomes a one-party consent state, they still couldn't charge those people. I don't think. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not a legal expert. But if the laws are the same like they are over in New Mexico, you cannot be charged with a law that doesn't exist yet if you have committed a crime before that law takes place. Meaning that law that Alec Baldwin was going to be charged with that would have given him years that they had to drop last year. Yeah, he couldn't be charged with it because that law didn't exist at the time that the crime was committed. So I think that might actually happen over in Florida. Say they did change it from a two-party to a one-party consent state. The one-party consent law didn't exist until after those illegal actions were committed. So I am not sure that it would help even if he switched it over. Unfortunately, back in the 70s, I do believe it was 78 or 58 or something like that, 50s or 70s, in which Florida became a two-party consent state. I wish they had changed or stayed a one-party consent state or become a one-party consent state, because there would be so many people fucked in the state of Florida right now. As for Diddy, I hope he is brought to justice for what he may have or may have not done. I do believe in due process. And while it is very heavily suggested that this man has indeed done some very deviant things, he still deserves his day in court. He still deserves his day in court. So moving on to our last topic of the evening, The Rock has political endorsement regret. Now, over the weekend, some news has come out that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has done an interview, and a lot of people are saying that he regrets vote or endorsing Joe Biden. That may be in fact true, but we are going to play the the part of the on X. We are going to share this. Let me bring it up. So just bear with me here, folks. There we go. So here is the let's get come on. There we go. This is the interview that he had on Fox News that all these left-wing nut jobs have actually started going after him for. Even The View had shit to say, which is just ridiculous. But they also had to be careful on what they said because they've been getting hit with a lot of legal notices. So, yeah.
You made that endorsement in 2020. Are you happy with the state of America?
Am I happy with the state of America right now? Well, that answer is no. Do I believe we're going to get better? I believe in that. I'm an optimist. Years ago, with Biden was one I thought was the best decision for me at that time. And I thought back then, when we talk about, hey, I'm in this position where I have some influence, and it's my job then. I feel like that. It's my job now to have my influence.
So what the article doesn't, or what the also it doesn't cover, folks, is that he essentially goes on to say that what he regrets most is that what he did was very divisive. It caused him caused a lot of divisiveness. And well, that's what happens when you vote for a candidate who says he's going to be a great unifier, but turns out to be very 40 or 30s and 40s Germanish kind of dictatorish. Can't believe I used to think he was cool when he was still in wrestling. Here's the thing. I respect him for using his head now, but I will not forget what he did. I can forgive, I won't forget. Unfortunately, he used his influence that damned our country. So yes, The Rock is indeed kind of screwed up. Now, he said he's not going to do any political endorsements. That's fine. And also people say that, well, he didn't necessarily say that he regrets voting or endorsing Joe Biden. It is very much implied. It is very much implied that he regrets doing that because Joe Biden is a divisive president. Now, is Donald Trump perfect? No, I've had my gripes with him. Yes, I will say that. I have had my gripes with Donald Trump. I literally did a video where I called him a retard, Donald Trump, that is, for what he said about video games and them leading to mass shootings. I believe that he was absolutely retarded in saying that. And I even did a video doing that, showing that, well, yeah, I'm not a blind follower of Donald Trump. I do believe that he is the best Band-Aid we have to keep this country going. I do not think that he is a cure. However, The Rock here, he has I worded this scroll on the bottom, has political endorsement regret. I was originally going to put it regrets endorsing Joe Biden. However, because that was not explicitly stated, I decided to put it as to what it actually is, which is he has political endorsement regret, and he has stated he's not going to do any political endorsements this year, or make them public at least. Now, he is willing, or has every right to vote for who he wants to vote for. He has every right to make his personal choice. As for me, I already know who I'm going to vote for. Yes, I am going to vote for Donald Trump. As for his VP pick, I am sincerely hoping he chooses Tulsi Gabbard. He has the best chance of getting the most votes if he gets Tulsi Gabbard. A lot of people say, well, what about Vivek Ramaswamy? Vivek Ramaswamy has already been embraced by all of the right-leaning conservatives and whatnot. What about the other, or what's his name? The black I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name. Well, sure, you're going to get a little bit of the black vote. Well, what about Nikki Haley? That would actually get me not to vote for Donald Trump. What about all these other guys? Byron Daniels. You would only get a little bit of the black vote. The reason why I say Tulsi Gabbard is the best choice is because having her, a former Democrat, as a vice president to a Republican president is a more unifying statement. Also, she is a person who will bring some of the left-wing moderate voters over to Trump. She has the ability to pull more votes in number and a wider range, including the undecided women, because Trump has said, I am in the middle of the road when it comes to abortion. I believe women have a right to have that procedure, but I do not believe it should be, or that is all he said. I do believe they have a right to the procedure. But I do believe that his statement or that his beliefs are they should not have a right to do it right up to the point of pregnancy or right up to the point of delivery. Trump is a funny meme in the way people go nuts seeing him in the White House. Was great times seeing those losers cry. Yeah. Thing is, they can't handle it. I mean, recently Joe Biden raised $26 million and it was a historic day for presidential fundraising and whatnot. Trump does a fundraiser and just blows that record right out of the water. And they couldn't handle it. They had to basically go on and report on all the people who donated to Trump in the 50 million fundraising record. These are the people who helped to break the record. They're a bunch of racist, misogynist, cheaters, and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, yeah. We don't give a fuck what you have to say because, honestly, you're just parroting the same old talking points, and that's all you are ever good for. You don't even bring up any sort of proof as to these claims, and if there is proof, you haven't shown it. You just can't handle the fact that Trump did a better job, and he's going to do a better job again. Trump is going to most likely win this election. And I know there are some people who believe that there isn't going to be a fair election or that there isn't going to be an election and whatnot. I am aware of that, but I do disagree. There will be an election. I do have faith in our republic. I do have faith that our branches of government will endure. Unfortunately, I do not think that they will endure into the 2030s or into the late 2020s. We will have 4 more years of Trump. Unfortunately, if a Democrat is elected after Trump, we will be placed into a into a world of instability that will cause a civil war in this country. But I do believe that, but getting back on topic here, The Rock and his political endorsement regret. I think that celebrities have a right to endorse whoever they want, but they must be aware that their endorsement is going to cause division. They are entertainers. Their main goal is to entertain. By not doing that and by getting political, like Chris Evans and whatnot, saying he doesn't care if he loses half his fans. He thinks they're absolute nut jobs. Well, here's the thing, dude. What exactly have you been doing that has actually been making you a shit ton of money? You've insulted millions of people. You've been nothing but divisive since Trump won the election. I mean, sure, you did a good Captain America, Chris, but other than that, what else have you done that is of any real importance? Just saying. So good on The Rock for admitting he has voter or presidential endorsement regret or political endorsement regret. Thing is, he wants to vote for the country becoming better. Honestly, dude, vote for Trump. Under him, I can draw a clear comparison between what this country was like under Biden and what this country was like under Trump. People were losing people were pissed off a lot under Trump, but the economy was soaring. That's an undeniable fact. The economy was soaring under Trump. It was flying high. Great gas prices, great food prices. People were, or the tax breaks that everybody said only affected the rich, affected even the middle class. And then Biden gets in the office. We went into a recession. So much of a recession that they literally had to change the definition of recession to say, oh, we weren't in a recession. Why? Because the new definition that you want people to believe didn't go that way or didn't meet the standards of the original term of recession. Yes, we went into a recession under Biden. We were damn near close to a depression under Biden. We went into a recession under Obama. We never went into a recession under Trump. So yeah, politically speaking, folks, those are my thoughts on all of this. Trump also continues to win in a lot of his stuff. The court cases are helping him out, or the Supreme Court is helping him out. There are certain things in which they are still continuing on. The Fannie Willis thing is still going on. The hush money trial is going to be coming up soon. That ain't going to work for Stormy Daniels at all. It ain't going to work for her at all. It's basically going to be a nothing burger. The Letitia James one that's going on in New York still has to go on. But the courts have sided with Trump in that they made a very excessive penalty judgment or that they were going to try to seize his assets. And it turned out that he was able, or they lowered it because, well, violation of the 8th Amendment, I do believe. It's called cruel and unusual punishment. So he stands with the Constitution, and it has benefited him because he is a protector of the Constitution as a president, or as opposed to the current president who wants to do what George W. Bush or H.W. Bush did with the Constitution and wipe his ass with it. Yes, I just said that a Republican president wanted to wipe his ass with the Constitution. That is what George W. Bush or H.W. Bush did after 9/11. I can look back on things and remember that 9/11 was indeed terrible, yes, but it does not give a president or government the rights to shit on the Constitution and spy on American citizens. What's going on in our country now is a direct result, or is a follow-up result of the actions taken by George W. Bush. So people should be aware of that. Republicans are not perfect. Democrats are not perfect. Neither party is really looking out for your best interests. And that is why we have the Bill of Rights that ensure that we cannot lose these inalienable rights under our republic. I will not say that our country is a democracy. We are not a democracy. We will never be a democracy. Our forefathers made it so we would never be a democracy unless our government falls. It's close to falling. It's close to failing. And that is due to the corruption in our government. Anyway, folks, those are the topics. We have hit the hour mark. Check out the eclipse tomorrow. I'm going to be checking it out. I will also be on Tuesday afternoon, I will be doing my thoughts on the Rambo franchise. And during that stream, I will be explaining the difference between agenda-driven movies and awareness-driven movies. Wokeness versus messaging that is important. So, and done subtly. So with that being said, also Tuesday night will be the Barroom Podcast. Wednesday will be the first of the ones and twos on Jade Shadow's channel it's going to be Lethal Weapon. And Thursday will be The Accountant for the singles on my channel. Great movie. It's one of my favorites. So make sure that you all stay or tune in for those all going on. Thank you to Vanya, Gypsy Geek Freak, Janet from Another Planet, Tim's Talk, Riot Kitty, Junebug, Darth Zathra, Christian Freights, who else? Fire Devil X. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to all those on X who tuned in, all 16 of you, and the 3 people on X. You all are freaking awesome, folks. Also, Friday, I have a new thumbnail for Orange Hat Uncensored. I will start putting thumbnails on the Orange Hat Uncensored segments if I continue them. Honestly, it's up in the air right now. So, yeah. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Y'all are freaking awesome, folks. This has been Orange Hat. Y'all have a wonderful day. And always remember to stay humble.